Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our technology unit as we work toward the end of the month of October. And today we're talking about concerts, which a lot of people like to go to see their favorite singers and their favorite groups perform live. But now we're talking about another way to make those concerts more enjoyable. These are holographic concerts that just might be the future of live music.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to even think about this. When we were growing up, there was a show on TV called Star Trek. Of course, they redid it decades later. They updated it. But I remember seeing some of this holographic stuff on Star Trek and thinking, wow, that's kind of cool how they can just disappear and travel to another place and then miraculously appear. It's kind of the same technology, but it's gotten a lot better since I was a kid. And these are concerts put on by people who are gone. They're dead. And they can bring these people back because they have lots of footage of them performing when they were around. And because of the great technology, the big advancements we've had in technology, we can actually go to concerts and sit there and watch somebody who is long gone. It's kind of crazy.
We could, or we could see someone who still exists.
True.
You never know. They can do all sorts of things with holography, which is making these images appear when there's not actually a person there.
Yeah.
It's an artificial person, but it looks 3D. And that's what we will talk about today. So let's get to it. Let's listen to the entire contents of our lesson now one time.
As a passionate music lover, I'm fascinated by holographic concerts. The first time I witnessed one, I was left spellbound. There she was, the late Teresa Deng Lijun, a household name across East Asia, right in front of my eyes. With her elegant presence dominating the stage, time seemed to stand still for a moment. But how is this miracle possible? The answer is a fresh interpretation of holography and the age-old technique known as Pepper's ghost. Derived from the Greek words holos, whole, and graph, writing, drawing, holography is a photographic technique used to create realistic 3D images with depth. The resulting visuals provide a whole field of view from various angles. However, in today's context, the term holography has taken on a broader meaning. Besides the photography, holography now includes technologies that can create an illusion so vivid and lifelike that you'll believe the object, or in this case, the singer, is right there with you. Without visible screens or electronics, this visual experience delivers an overwhelming sense of reality, although it is, in truth, no more than a delicate dance of light and illusion, a 2D representation that imitates 3D with breathtaking perfection. To understand exactly how a beloved singer from the past ends up gracing the modern stage, we must first explore the concept of Pepper's ghost, which sets the foundation of this application. It's a simple yet effective technique used in theater performances to create mysterious apparitions. In this simple setup, a sheet of glass placed at a specific angle reflects the image of an actor or special effect from a hidden room onto the stage, creating an almost ethereal illusion. Okay, folks, we're talking about holographic concerts, the future of live music. Live music meaning you're watching someone perform the music in front of you. They have real instruments and it's live. It's not music that's being played back from a CD or maybe an album. If they're really old school, they'll have a turntable and they'll have a record on. But this is the future of live music, which is kind of crazy to even imagine. Things are changing so fast.
Right. So again, we're talking about holographic concerts, and holographic comes from the word holography, which again is projecting images someplace else besides where they are, and they look real. They look like they're really there. They're 3D, but they aren't there. So that's what a holography is, or that's what holography is. A holographic image is what you would see at some of these concerts. And again, you can expect to see more of these at concerts in the future. Now, this is from the first person. Of course, our writer here is talking about what he or she knows about holography or holographic concerts. As a passionate music lover, I'm fascinated by holographic concerts. The first time I witnessed one, I was left spellbound. Now, I'm not really a great concert goer. I think the last actual concert I went to was a good 15, 20 years ago. And so, of course, it depends on the kind of concert you go to. If you go see a folk singer or something like that, you're not going to see all these dazzling lights and stuff like that. You're just going to see the guy or the woman on the stage playing songs on his guitar, and there won't be a lot of special effects and stuff like that. But if you're into like Korean boy bands or pop singers, yes, indeed, they're going to have lots of special effects. And one of the special effects, of course, is holography. And in this particular case, the first time the writer saw one, well, he was left spellbound. If you're spellbound, it really attracts your attention, and you stop and pay attention to it. It has your complete attention, and you basically freeze there.
Yeah, we actually use that word quite often to talk about something that gets your entire attention. It holds your attention. You don't want to look away. You're spellbound. Comes from, of course, spells that witches or warlocks would place on people. But here, you could also use something with spellbinding. Wow, what a spellbinding movie or spellbinding story. This person that is writing this article in the first person, she or he said they were left spellbound by what they saw or witnessed. If you witness something, you see it with your own eyes. There she was. And this is what she saw. The late Teresa Deng Lijun, who was a household name, or still is a household name, across East Asia. If you're a household name, just means everybody knows you. You're very famous. So, of course, everybody knows who Teresa Deng is, or Deng Lijun, her Chinese name. And she was watching Teresa Deng right in front of her eyes. Of course, Teresa passed away. So how is this happening? This is crazy.
Yeah, it was a big news item, of course, when she passed away. I think she died in Thailand or something like that. And I did want to mention that her name is using the old spelling that they use to write out Chinese words in English. So a lot of people will probably say Teresa Tang or something like that.
Oh, really?
Or Tang Li Chun or something like that, even though we all know that her real name is Teresa Deng Lijun. And, of course, here in Taiwan, she's very famous, although, again, she died many years ago. So maybe the younger generation might not be so interested in her music, but still, it's a household name across East Asia. A household name is just something that everybody knows about. Like J. Joe, for example, is a household name. Everybody knows him, or Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee. That's a household name in China and here in Taiwan as well. And, of course, in East Asia, which, of course, would refer to Japan and Korea and maybe some other countries as well.
Right. So it says here she had an elegant presence. If you're elegant, you're very stylish. I would say this word is used more with women, but actually there are elegant men too. You have to have a lot of style in your dress, and your mannerisms or the way you move and, your gestures are very kind of beautiful, very graceful. So if you're elegant, it would mean not just your clothes, but also your mannerisms, how you move your body. So it says she had an elegant presence dominating the stage. No one wanted to look away. If you're dominating something, you have most of the power, and so everybody's kind of looking to you. And time seemed to stand still for a moment. Yeah, if you've had those experiences when you feel like your whole world has kind of gotten shaken up, time can stand still for a bit. That's true.
Right, so here we're asking the question, but how was this miracle possible? How is it possible for Deng Lijun to be performing right in front of my very eyes? Didn't she die a long time ago? But there she is. In the flesh. And of course, here the answer to the question is a fresh interpretation of holography and the age-old technique known as Pepper's Ghost, which we'll get to in just a couple of seconds here. This is a modern interpretation of holography. We did mention the word holography before. Again, you create images, usually of people, and it looks like they're there, but they really aren't. It's kind of like an illusion. And, of course, I don't think I've ever seen holography before, but I think most of us kind of see it if we're walking down the street and we look in the window of a business or something and we see a reflection. That's kind of what it is. It's kind of like a reflection. We think there's someone standing there, but we know it's a reflection. And I think they had something like that at Disneyland a long time ago. If you got on this ride and you could see like ghosts dancing or something.
I think that was in the haunted house.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't go on that myself because it came after I went there when I was a kid.
Oh, that's a fun one. Because you stand in this room before... you're just in a room. It doesn't look like you're on a ride at all. And they've got ghosts that appear behind your shoulder. It's really kind of weird. And there are mirrors in there. So, yeah, it's kind of fun. It's not very scary because it's for kids, too.
Right.
They don't want to scare them too badly. Now, how is this miracle possible? The answer is a fresh interpretation of holography and the age-old technique known as Pepper's Ghost. Pepper's Ghost's been around for a long time. We're going to talk about that once the article gets to the part where it explains what Pepper's Ghost is. So if you're looking at an interpretation of something, it's how something is seen or viewed. You could be an interpreter and work as a kind of a translator. We use it that way. Or maybe you're talking with your friend and you're asking them about something, and instead of answering you, they kind of shrug or they make some sort of gesture. And you're not really sure what they mean. So how are you supposed to interpret that? How do you figure out what their meaning is? So it's a way of explaining what something is.
Yeah, to interpret, of course, is the verb and interpretation is the noun. This happens a lot in classical music, for example. You might like one violinist's interpretation of, say, Beethoven's violin concerto or something. Oh, I like Isaac Perlman's interpretation better than Joshua Bell's or whatever.
Yeah.
And indeed, this can also be applied to technology. This is an update of holography, and the original holography was Pepper's Ghost, which we'll get to as our lesson continues in just a couple of seconds. But right now, we're going to take a break. Please come back.
Hello, everyone. 我是派老师，今天讲解的是10月23号 Unit 13 Holographic Concerts, The Future of Live Music, Day 1。不晓得大家有没有听过全息影像这个名词？这个单元介绍的是把 holography 应用在演唱会之类的娱乐，即使明星本人并没有出现在现场，这项科技也可以让所有观众都觉得明星亲临现场了。实际上只是影像，不过呈现在观众面前却相当生动逼真。这篇文章解释了到底这项科技是怎么做到我上面所叙述的效果。好，我们一起来看这个单元的学习重点。请同学看到第一段的第一句，这就是我刚刚所说的 holographic concert， 就是全息演唱会。再来，请同学看到第二句逗点之后的主要子句 I was left spellbound， 就是作者第一次参加这个全息演唱会就完全着迷了。这个 left 其实就是 leave 它的过去分词，后面的 spellbound 是什么？在这里应该说是主词补语，因为它是用被动语态的。我们说 leave 可以是什么意思呢？ leave 加上受词，再加一个受词补语 leave someone 怎么样？像譬如说 leave me alone， 让我独自一个人。后面这个 alone 呢，它其实就是受词补语形容词，那告诉人家说就是让我是孤独的状态。那在这里它因为呢是改成被动语态，所以这个形容词呢它其实是作为主词补语说明这个 I spellbound 就是着迷的意思。 再来，请同学看到第3个句子有几个单字，请同学特别注意的。首先呢，就是在 Teresa 邓丽君 ，Teresa 就是邓丽君她的英文名字，前面还有个 late 就是已故的意思。各位同学，那可能如果很年轻的话，根本没有看过邓丽君本人，因为她多年前就已经过世了，所以前面加了一个 late 就是已故的。不过在以前它其实是一个家喻户晓的名字 ，a household name。household name 就是家喻户晓的名字。再来，请同学看到第4个句子 ，with an elegant presence dominating the stage。那因为台上出现了邓丽君优雅的身影。好，我们这个 with， 它其实呢就是一个附带说明，让我们了解说这个主要的子句是在什么样的情况之下发生的，就是邓丽君的身影就出现在了舞台上，时间好像就静止了 ，Time seemed to stand still。在这样子的情况之下，时间好像静止了 ，stand still 就是静止的意思。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. We're talking about holographic concerts and the future of live music. Now, when we left, we were talking about Teresa Deng, or Deng Lijun. She was a household name across East Asia. I'm sure some of our listeners, Tom, weren't born when she died. So she may be a very, very old name for some who are listening. I remember this name because when I was here my first time in Taiwan, she was a pop singer and it was kind of cool. I wasn't here when she passed away, though, so that's sad. She died when she was 42. So how are we actually going to a concert of live music of someone who's no longer here? We're going to talk about how this technique or this technology works, where we described her presence dominating the stage. She looked very elegant. And the answer to how this miracle was possible is that it was a fresh interpretation of holography. That's how you pronounce that word. And the age-old technique known as Pepper's Ghost. It's derived from the Greek words holos, which is a Greek word meaning whole, and graph, meaning writing or drawing. Holography is a photographic technique used to create realistic 3D images. If something's 3D, guys, it's not just flat and on a piece of paper or on a screen like a movie screen. If it's 3D, it seems to have, all sides to it. It's got depth to it.
Yeah, and photographic, of course, refers to photography, which is basically taking pictures. So it's a technique or a technology that creates realistic 3D images, and they have depth. They look real, like they're really standing there.
Right.
And the resulting visuals provide a whole field of view from various angles. A lot of times, of course, you have to look at these things from one specific place. If you move just a little bit, it does not have the effect. But in this particular case, you can look at it from various places or various angles. However, in today's context, the term holography has taken on a broader meaning, which is expected because we know technology is improving every day.
Oh, yeah. They're making progress, leaps and bounds every day. It's kind of amazing to watch. So the resulting visuals provide a whole field of view from various angles. It doesn't matter where you sit in the audience. It would be like someone was real and you could sit on any side in that particular auditorium, or maybe you're in a big arena. Some of the big stars actually can fill arenas with their fans. So in today's context, though, the term holography has taken on a broader meaning. So besides the photography, holography now includes technologies that can create an illusion. An illusion is something you think you see, but it's not real. So if you've ever gone to a magician's magic show, they'll often have these illusions. And you think you're seeing something that's real, but it's not. It's a false trick or a false idea of of whatever they're doing. David Copperfield is very well known for his illusions, and you really could swear you were seeing something that was real. But these illusions are so vivid and lifelike that you'll believe the object, or in this case, the singer is right there with you.
Exactly. So it's vivid, which means living or lifelike. And basically, vivid and lifelike are very similar in meaning. And yes, indeed, you'll believe that object or that singer, Deng Lijun, is right there singing her heart out to you. Now, without visible screens or electronics, this visual experience delivers an overwhelming sense of reality, although it is in truth no more than a delicate dance of light and illusion, or a 2D representation that imitates 3D with breathtaking perfection. This is quite a long sentence here, so let's break it down. We're talking about no visible screens or electronics. Electronics, of course, are circuits that are powered by electricity. They use computer circuits and computer chips and things like that. Electricity is the power. Electronics are things that use electricity using computer circuits and things like that. Like your cell phone, of course, is an electronic device. And we have this visual experience, and it creates this overwhelming sense of reality. Okay, so again, you've got no screens and you can't really see the electronics, but still it really looks real. But in truth, to tell you the truth, it's nothing more or no more than a delicate dance of light and illusion. It's basically not there. It's just light dancing over the place and you're fooled by it. You think it's really there.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Notice here this phrase, no more than. We could substitute that with just. So, although it is in truth just a delicate dance, or merely, you could use merely too. Although it is in truth merely a delicate dance of light and illusion. We'll often talk about two things being a delicate dance or a delicate waltz or something. We'll use a dance term there when two things are working together to produce something. And that's what light and illusion are doing. They're working together to produce something that actually looks real. It's a 2D representation that imitates. Imitate just means to imitate someone. It means you copy them. Little kids love to imitate their older brothers and sisters and drive them nuts. That's what they do. They're copycats. We'll say, oh, he's a copycat. He's copying me. He's imitating you. So 2D representation that imitates 3D with breathtaking perfection. Breathtaking is a great word. It's exactly what it says. If something takes your breath away, it's awesome. It's amazing. It's wow. It's like that. So that's a really good word that actually means what it looks like. Moving on to the final paragraph, it says to understand exactly how a beloved or beloved, you can pronounce that word either way, singer, we're talking about Teresa Deng, from the past ends up gracing the modern stage. We must first explore the concept of Pepper's ghost. I remember at the beginning I said we were going to define what Pepper's ghost is. So Pepper's ghost sets a foundation of this application. What is foundation, Tom?
The basis of something. You need to have it to build on. Of course, a building will have a foundation. You need to, clear out the ground and put some materials there so you can start building the structure there. And so that's the foundation or the base of something. And that's what Pepper's ghost is. It's kind of like the first time this was attempted. And it's a simple yet effective technique used in theater performances to create mysterious apparitions. Now, the word apparition here just means some kind of image that shows up. And in the West, of course, we often think of ghosts as being kind of transparent. I don't really know what ghosts look like here in Taiwan, if they're kind of transparent, if you can kind of see through them a little bit. But in the West, of course, we think of ghosts as being see-through. You can see through them a little bit. You can see what they're standing in front of. And so that's what an apparition is. Usually some kind of phantom-like image, like a ghost.
Yeah, whether that's accurate or not, we don't know. But that's our interpretation. Remember that word interpretation? That's our interpretation of what a ghost is, or an apparition, which just means a ghost or ghost-like image. Now, in this simple setup, this is how it works. A sheet of glass placed at a specific angle reflects the image of an actor or special effect from a hidden room onto the stage, creating an almost ethereal illusion. I remember when I saw the Broadway show The Secret Garden, the mother has died, and so they have to recreate her at one point because she sings with her husband, and she's already gone. So they use this Pepper's ghost idea to make her look more ghost-like. Ethereal is a great word. It means kind of very flimsy-like. It's very delicate. It's light in a way. Ethereal. It makes you think of heaven. So that's one of the things they do. This is the technique they use, especially in theater. If you're ever going to go to see a live piece of drama, if they've got a ghost in it, they're going to use Pepper's ghost as an idea or a technique.
They use this in different places too. I think I remember the old video games often used this, so you'd be looking at the screen, but there would be other images in your field of view.
Oh, really?
So it's kind of a similar technique,
cool.
And I'm sure they use it in other places as well. And we'll continue talking about this in our next program, but right now we need to say farewell after we hear from our Chinese teacher.
好，我们看到第二段的第一个句子，这其实是一个分词构句。前面 derive from 这个部分，它在意思上的主词指的就是后面的 holography， 就是我们讲的全息影像。那这个字 holography 这个字呢，它的字源是希腊文两个字所结合的，这在说明这个字怎么来的。好，再来，请同学看到第三个句子。那这项技术其实在现今的环境之下 in today's context。那 holography 这个词呢 has taken on a broader meaning. Take on 这边所指的就是它有了新的意涵，比较广泛的意涵。请同学看到第三段，第三段的第一个句子，这个句子相当的长，所以同学要懂得切割。Besides the photography， 除了摄影术，好，这里可以端开来。再来呢，主要子句出现。Holography now includes technologies， 好，这是主要子句了。全息摄影呢，有包含了一些技术。首先，第一个 technologies that can create an illusion， 它是可以创造出一些幻觉的。那这个幻觉 so vivid and lifelike that， 所以这个都是在修饰这个 illusion， 它其实是非常生动逼真 ，vivid 生动 ，lifelike 逼真。生动逼真到什么程度啊？你会认为这个物体或在我们现在所说的，就是这个明星这个人呢，他就在你身边。好，再来，请同学看到第二个句子。第二个句子，我要请同学看到的是 in truth 逗点之后的这个 no more than， 请同学画起来。这个 no more than 其实是一种强调的作用，所指的是不过是。所以这里呢，所讲的是不过是光和幻觉的巧妙交融。再来，请同学看到第四段这个部分。好，这里讲到了在舞台上出现了这个过去相当出名的明星。好 ，How a beloved singer from the past。那因为他早就已经过世了，所以 from the past ends up gracing the modern stage。Grace 在这里是动词因为我们知道说 end up 这个动词片语，它后面再加一个动词的时候加 VING， 就最后变得怎么样，结果怎么样。好，就是这个明星他到底是怎么会出现在这个现代的舞台上呢？好 ，grace 这个动词用得非常的好，像我们常常都会讲说你要谢谢某些重要的人亲临现场，让这个地方呢蓬荜生辉。我们也可以说 Thank you for gracing today's event with your presence。谢谢你呢参加我们今天的这个活动。好，再来就请同学看到第三个句子，第四段的第三个句子。In this simple setup, a sheet of glass placed at a specific angle。请同学特别注意到的是，这里有动词很多，对吧？那你要懂得区分哪个是主要动词，哪个不是。这一句的主要动词是在这个 reflect 这边，所以就是这个玻璃板，它是会去反射的。好，所以这个 reflect 才是主要动词，前面的这个 placed 它其实 是有所省略的，是省略了什么呢？ Which is 就这块玻璃板被放在特定的角度，那省略掉冠带后面的 is 去掉，变成原形，再加 ing BEING 是可以省略，所以只留下一个 placed。 以上就是我们针对第一天课程所做的中文讲解，谢谢大家。
That's it, guys. We're out of time for today, but we've got one more day to talk about what holographic concerts are like and kind of talk more about this technology and how it's being used. So we hope you'll join us then. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom. Goodbye.
Bye.